Hello there. This is a beginner's tutorial about how to start in Kerbal Space Program. It will include everything from building your rocket to exploring space to aircraft, docking, everything that's included in this game. It will be very detailed at the start, but as you go along the tutorial, which will be a series, it will catch some pace because I wanted to do a complete beginner's tutorial. So, and don't mind the fabulousness of the game at the moment because I have downloaded visual mods. You probably currently don't have visual mods, but the parts and the gameplay is the same. Only visual mods are different for me, and I'll make another video of how to download mods in general. So let's start. We go to start game, as simple as that, and we start a new game. So let's go with, we are going to do a science game. So the reason in Sandbox, when you start, every part is available for you. You could do anything you want. Money does not matter at all, the budget or anything. However, for beginners, because there are so many parts, it's not very easy to learn and you get kind of bundled up trying to figure which part to use, how to build a rocket. Science is recommended as initially you have like 5 parts, but as you progress and explore the space, gain new science, you unlock new parts and could use it, slowly learning your way. In career, it's the same thing as science, except the funds. You have to care about your funds, the rocket's expensive, your astronauts and all that. It's unnecessary for beginners, so we'll go with that. You could also select any flag you want. I'll go with the traditional Kerbal Space Program flag. Just name your game, and difficulty option I set it to normal. I recommend you do so as you follow through the tutorial. So let's start. As soon as you enter, you'll be greeted by Gene Caramel. It's basic instructions that you could move with the arrow keys, but a better way to move is by right-clicking and dragging. So like this is much easier. So yeah, you could look around, and then if you right-click on the facilities, it will give details about their levels. They're now at science mode. They're all at max level, so you'll never care about them. And yeah, but the important place you'll usually visit is this Research and Development Center, or called R&D facility. Now this is the tech tree. You'll initially start with like, how many parts is that? 8 parts. But as you gain science through your way, you are going to unlock new, well, categories that includes parts. You'll use research for that. And eventually you'll go into the very depths, unlocking the complicated parts as well, slowly learning your way. So first of all, we're going to learn how to simply build and control a rocket and gain initial science at the same time. So this is a very vehicle assembly building, as you can see from the name of this, well, not astronaut, aerospace engineer, Werner von Kerman. All people, Kerbals here has the surname Kerman, and Werner von Braun there was, that led initially the Apollo program, got it going, and yeah, it's probably comes from that, his name and the surname Kerman over here. So, and vehicle assembly building, you could go up by dragging up. Yeah. So to do anything, first of all, you cannot move in any way. So you have to first initially put any part. So let's go with simply this MK1 command module. Yeah. So if you go scroll up and down, you'll also scroll up and down in the vehicle assembly building. I'll call it VAB for short. And you could move by right-clicking and dragging. So you could view in 3-dimensional all sides. So first of all, let's see what we have. We have basically an engine. It's a solid fuel booster and some basic parts. Now, the important thing in science category is to gain science. So this, we're going to add mystery group science at the science category. I usually recommend to add 2 of them. And the way to do this is by pressing the symmetry button. And this can be pressed over here. Boom. Or shortly, you could press X. So it can go all the way to 8 times. And yeah, 1 time. But I recommend 2 times. For this simple experiment, we'll possibly need just 2. And this is called the snapping. You could toggle snap over here. You could just press it or simply press C to toggle it on and off. And what this does, let me zoom in a bit. Zooming is in and out is done by shift and scrolling. Scrolling up zooms in. And so, well, you could just left click and press wherever you want. This is my recommended way of doing it. You could do it any way you want. The main reason being that if you put it like this, the astronaut cannot get out. So it's like this. So these are mystery goose and their science parts. And what else we'll need? So we want to initially go up. So we'll add a solid rocket booster. And if we go up, we have to go back down. We will go back down because of gravity. So we will need a parachute. So if you search up parachute or just go to the search bar, you could put a parachute on top of the command module. So this is our basic starting rocket. Yeah, and just like that. So let's launch it and see what happens. Also, because we will be accelerating very fast, we would need some fins. So what the fins do, so if you put up center of mass and center of, it's called aerodynamic center, you see that currently the aerodynamic center is above the center of mass of the rocket, and this is bad. This means if the rocket is moving up, which it will in this case, it will flip. So what you need to do is make sure that at all times the aerodynamic center is below the center of the mass, as in this case. So let's launch it. Now, we are currently at the launch pad, and I will now show you how to, take some science initially. So one of the first things you'll do at every time you take a science report, basically, you right click and do a crew report. And the crew report in this case is from the launch pad. And we gained 1.5 science, and this can be used to unlock the tech tree. And then you basically keep the experiment and saves the science. You could also EVA out, right click on the astronaut and do an EVA report. 2.4 science gained. And also then board back in simply. And right click on the mystery crew to observe the mystery crew. And 3 science gained. Now all this science is basically just exclusively from the launch pad. So if you again run these sciences on the launch pad, it wouldn't be as much worse because you already studied and explored that bit. So now we will go to the launching bit. To launch, first of all, initially, all the time you will turn on SAS. You will toggle it on. You could just press this button over here or press T and T to toggle it on and off. So what SAS does is it gives control to your rocket. So, and rocket with control and steerability is very valuable. And that's it. So what I am going to do is now straight go up without steering it anyway and come back down with your parachute. To stage, as you could see from the left hand side over here, you press space. Space will toggle the solid rocket booster. And let me remind you that because this is a solid rocket booster, once it is ignited, it cannot be stopped until the fuel runs out. And it has quite some it has quite some accelerating power. So we will quite accelerate. And then let's press space to see and find out what happens. Off we go up. We are accelerating, which can be seen from the G-forces here. Yes, now we are on our way up. And once you reach the top of your ascent, you could deploy the parachute. Currently, it's not available. Now it is, because we were going too fast. So I'll press space again to deploy the parachute. Because I deployed it quite early as we're going up. But it's okay. It will fully deploy at around 1000 meters above the ground. And while we are high up, we could do an experiment to gain more science from the Earth's atmosphere. We will observe the other mystery goo, 7 science. You see it's more valuable than the launch pad. We could quickly EVA before we go very fast. EVA report, save, and then board quickly back in. And yeah, so this might take some be time consuming. As you see, I turned off SAS as I don't need it. So we could do what's known as a physics time wrap. So if you hover over this wrap bit over here, you could press, increase wrap. So you see we're going faster and faster. It's not because our speed is faster, we are time wrapping. Or this can easily be done by pressing dot and comma on the keyboard. So I will time wrap a little bit. At around 1000 height, the parachutes will deploy and slowing us down to a safe speed of, around 7 meters per second. Now, the altimeter over here shows sea level currently. So now we're close to sea level, but not at sea level. So if you want to turn it into terrain level, you could press that button. As you could see, it decreases as terrain level is higher than that. We safely now reach the ground, and we could recover the vessel. You hover over the altimeter and the recover vessel pops up. Let's recover the vessel now. As you see, we gained a total of 24.5 science, which is quite a lot. It can unlock a big chunk of the tech tree. So let's press next and go to the R&D and see what we can unlock. So we can unlock basic rocketry. So it's basic rocketry, which includes a swivel engine, a bigger solid fuel, and a liquid fuel tank, the first of its kind. And the other one, which includes decouplers, thermometers, and the other one. Ignore this onboard camera as it's from a mod. I'll show which ones are from a mod. Yeah, and then how much science we've got from now, 14.5, so we could not yet unlock any of them as the minimum is 15 for the next one. Let's go back to our facility and build another rocket. Now, so after we've completed this rocket, you could open it again to see that it's auto-saved as I didn't save it previously. But we do not anymore need this rocket as we'll do another mission. You could press the new button and that's it. Simply it goes back. Now we want to divert away from the launch pad, not go straight back up and down. So let's simply build a rocket with the command module at the start. And basically we all know that we need a parachute back down. So put the parachute back down. But now we will do something different. So our rocket might get quite heavy, and the parachute might not be able to slow it down when it descends because it will be a heavy jump. So we could add the decoupler over here. And we put the decoupler, what it does, it adds a new staging level. It's quite small over here. So when you press space at this instant, what it will do is remove the rest of the rocket below it and leave only the command module and the parachute together. And because we will be saving the science there, we'll gain all the science back. So again, go to the science place and we have a new science bit. So press X to add the mystery goose. And well, let's add a bigger solid fuel tank. Swivel engine is currently quite overpowered, but we could add it as well. Let's do it. Go for a bigger aim. Why not? Because currently these are small, we will need many of these. And a way to simplify this process is by pressing Alt-D for duplication. So if these highlighted parts you want to duplicate, press Alt-D, left click, put it where you want it. And we will put our swivel engine. Now, an interesting remark is to notice is that it's called the thrust to weight ratio. So if you press on the engine, click over here, you'll see thrust to weight ratio. For the rocket to first of all go up, it needs to be higher than 1. And anything above 2 in general is too high. You accelerate too fast. But because this is a swivel engine and not a like liquid fuel engine and not a solid rocket engine, we could throttle it up and down. We will have full control of it and it's not a problem. And we'll add another decoupler because why not? And a solid rocket booster. So what will happen? So let's simplify the process. First, we will ignite the solid rocket engine. It will make us go up. And then we want to decouple and start the engine. Because we want this process to happen fast, because we'll be in mid-air, we could drag the engine bar down to the one with the decoupler, and when you stage it at that moment, both the decoupler will activate and then the engine will start. And these are the liquid fuel tanks. All looks well. I also forgot to put the thermometer here. Yeah. Well, let's just put 2 above as well. And of course, you go to aerodynamics, the fin, center of mass, aerodynamic center. We see that it's still too high, so we put it down quite. And it should not be too down, because if it's too down, you have no steerability. And in this time, we will steer the rocket so we land somewhere else. And basically, that's it. We are now at the launch pad with our new updated rocket over here. So now it's not recommended that you do the science because the value gained from it will be very low and you will just be wasting your science over here. Now, a general recommendation I would do, for example, you could only take crew report once. So if you press on crew report, it will do it for the first time. We gain no science at all. And then if you press it again, let's say at some other point we want to do a crew report again during our mission, we cannot do it twice. And the way to tackle this is to bring EVA out our astronaut, take the data from right click on the command pod, take the data, and then you board back in. And the science will automatically be stored. And if you press crew report again, it will be done. That's it. It will work. And then reset experiment to not actually do it. So again, procedure, turn on SAS and get ready for launch. Now, a few things before we launch I would like to mention is that the way you control the rocket is through WASD. So if you press D, you are going to turn right, or as shown over here at the 90-degree mark over there. W up, S south, and A for west. That would have been the greater way to explain it. One more thing to mention is how to control the throttle. Increasing throttle can be done by left shift. So basically like this, and then control left at the left hand side will decrease the throttle. Pressing Z will make it instantly to max throttle, and pressing X will cut off the throttle once and for all. And the controls, I told the controls. So now we will be launching. I will be tilting towards the right because I don't want to go straight back up and then down. And so let's throttle up. So I don't need to throttle for the solid rocket engine, as it's a solid rocket engine, basically. I am tilting right now. The circle over there you see shows the direction in which you're heading. And I'm pressing D at the moment so that, well, I tilt a little bit to the right, but it's not the most efficient way. Now, my solid fuel booster ran out. I will be decoupling it soon, but not too soon, because my fins are attached to the solid booster. And if I decouple it, I'll be spinning around, and I do not want that at all. You'll be going quite up. I will be decoupling soon. And yes, this is enough. We could decouple and then throttle up. Off we go. So we have lots of fuel over here, and we will be reaching what's known as a sub-orbital trajectory. I do not know if we have enough fuel for that, but we will soon find out. I'm making sure that the throttle is in middle level, so we do not get a lot of drag initially. And what you could do currently to see the apoapsis height is press this maneuver mode, and you see the maximum point at which your rocket will go if it ran out of fuel and suddenly stop. Or you could go to map mode, zoom in by scrolling, and then right click on the apoapsis to see it. Above 70 kilometers the atmosphere ends. And so we passed it, and we will go to space for the first time. Our rocket is still running. We are getting some flames because of the intense heat. We are now currently in Earth's upper atmosphere. So if we right click and observe the mystery goo, you will see that it is from Kerbin's upper atmosphere. So again, we do the crew report. All of those essential stuff, and we have a thermometer. We could log the temperature. We could also go EVA currently. Right click EVA report, and takes a crew report as well, takes the data so you can do multiple crew reports. And we are now in space for the first time, above the Kármán line in the case of the Kerbin, and we could do another experiment in space, and this will give you a lot of science. Observe mystery goo. It's space near Kerbin. Do crew report. So we took all of our experiments, and we will be heading back down. Now, so all of this is now empty fuel, so we do not need it. We could decouple it by stages, basically. And because we're spinning, you could press T to toggle SAS. We are going to go quite high and then come back down. We do not have a heat shield, but we also do not need it. I'm going to time wrap now. This is called general time wrap, not physics time wrap, as we are not in the atmosphere. We are now physics time wrapping. So the best situation to do over here is to press retrograde. So it's SAS always controls it to oppose the motion you're going in. So the back side of the command module is going to face the heat. And let's time wrap and see. Currently, our heat is getting quite high, but we will be fine. I almost thought they were going to explode, the mystery goo canisters. The other part is going to explode as we do not have a parachute. We will now deploy the parachute by staging. This is half deployed. It does not fully deploy, fully slowing the speed down. And once we reach about 1 kilometer above the ground, we are fully going down. And that's it. This was the mission. And because this is a different biome, this is still Kevin's atmosphere, we could do another science experiment. Let's first do an EVA, take the data of all of them. Take data, take data. I cannot run the mystery goo again because it can be only run once. You need a scientist, which this astronaut is not a scientist to run it again. So EVA report on Kevin's grasslands, it's a biome. And we take a surface sample as well, do all those good old stuff. Take the temperature again, log temperature, crew report. Okay, and recover vessel, as simple as that. We gained a lot of science, about, well, 70 science, and we could unlock more of the tech tree. And our next mission will be going to orbit. So that will be harder. That's for the next video. This was the complete. It was mainly learning about the inputs, how to control rockets, time wrapping, and hope it was helpful. Give a like, give a subscriber so I continue doing this and have motivation to do so. Thank you for watching.